Okay, I think we are live, just making sure everything's going. Looks like it is. There we go. Yep. I'll just wait. If anybody wants to say hello in the chat, then please do, and I'll know we're good to go. A little bit early tonight, so yeah, but I thought it's a Monday. Why not jump on, have a chat about Transformers Rise of the Beast? Because not long to go now. Not long at all. Hello. How you doing? Hi, 80s kid from the 90s. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good Monday. Hello, Sleepy Night. Interesting name. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, but hello as well, Darth Maul. Everybody looking forward to Transformers Rise of the Beast? Hello. Yes, cool. Yeah, a little bit earlier this evening, so I thought we'd pop on, have a chat for a little bit, talk all things Transformers Rise of the Beast. We'll let a few more people come in before we get started on some topics. I've got a couple of trailers, well, TV spots for us to look over. And I've also done a few reactions to some TV spots, so they'll be coming on the channel soon. But I saved a couple for our stream as well. So, hello. Hi. Felipe, welcome. Nice avatar, like that. One Gym Productions. Bay vs Optimus Prime will show up. Will he now? Will he now? That could be worth talking about. So yeah, how are we all feeling with not too long to go now until Rise of the Beast come out? Are we feeling confident that this movie's going to do well? Are we looking forward to this movie? Because I've got to say that I'm really looking forward to this movie now. It's been building for a little while, and there was a few moments where I was a little bit slightly worried about certain things, but I'm just very excited about the movie now. I can't wait to go and see it. So yeah, I don't know how you guys are feeling, but my excitement just keeps getting more and more and more. And the more trailers that I see, I think we might be getting one too many TV spots, but each TV spot I do see, there's something extra in there, and I think, oh, that looked really good as well. So I'm quite excited about this movie now. I know some have got reservations about Wheeljack, and some have got a few worries about it being tied to the Bayverse, but they seem to be the two slight issues. But everything else to me just looks really cool. So I'm very excited about it. Colton Dobbs, is Scourge Optimus Prime? Well, we don't know yet. We do not know yet. We will have to wait and see. But I, I initially thought that was definitely not possible for this movie. I really didn't think this was going to be a thing. But there was a moment in the second trailer with that moment with Unicron where I thought to myself, oh, maybe that could happen. But nothing's been confirmed yet, so we just don't know. I think Scourge fails and Unicron goes to Megatron. Shockwave could report energon readings or transits and signals. Yeah, I think at the end of this movie we'll get some sort of end credit scene. It could be Megatron. If they want to go in a different direction, it could be Shockwave. The thing that keeps cropping up, obviously, is talk of the Bayverse. And even if it doesn't go into the Bayverse, it sounds like they don't really want to touch anything that happened during the Bayverse. So, for example, Megatron having crash landed and being put on ice for a number of years, it makes me believe that they'll potentially not touch that yet. They might, and if they do, then that changes the entire direction of where these films go. But I don't know if they want to touch anything that goes into 2007 just yet. So Shockwave could be an interesting one because the first time we saw him, obviously, was in Transformers Bumblebee. So that could be an interesting one. Maybe Shockwave is the one that's controlling Cybertron at this time, um, but we'll have to wait and see. Optimus Prime's transformation was fire. Yeah, the rolling transformation, the one where he's encountering Scourge, it's very, very cool. I really like it. And I think that's not going to be the only transformation that we see from Optimus. I think we're going to see multiple transformations from multiple Transformers. Okay, I get that. Well, we're going to show a couple of TV spots here on the stream. So I'm just warning you in advance. I'll let you know when they're coming up because I don't want to spoil anything for you. But yeah, I feel the same. I don't always want to watch the TV spots because I don't want any major spoilers because I really want to enjoy my experience in the cinema. That's something that's important to me to actually get those big moments on the big screen. But I've kind of got suckered in recently to the TV spots as well. And also, obviously, having a YouTube channel covering Transformers, you kind of want to cover the news. So I'm a bit 50-50. I'm covering bits of news and then avoiding the big, big spoilers. So, yeah, I'm trying to find a balance. But I will let you know when we do cover the TV spots, just in case you don't want to overly go into them or see them. So, Autobot Zien, I think that is. I hope in the next future Megatron gets reborn to Galvatron. What, a bit like the 1986 movie where he became Galvatron? Yeah, could. That scene to me with Scourge looks like very much the 1986 movie, but instead of Megatron, it's Scourge. I'd like there to be maybe a build process there where we see Scourge being made, because if you remember those little cards that Paramount and the Transformers official account put out, which was like a profile of each robot, it did say that Scourge is made up of parts. It didn't say from different robots, but it did say that he's made up of multiple parts. So we could see an instance where he's being pulled together by Unicron. I think that'd be a cool moment to see in the movie. Who do you think's created by Unicron? Just catching up on some of the chat. Scourge or someone else? Megatron? Is Freezer a clone? I think Freezer is going to be one of many, not Decepticon, Terracon drones that we're going to see in the movie, because there's a few moments in that final battle where we see a ton of them. I thought initially they were Predacons, but I don't think they are. I think they're Terracons controlled by Scourge or Unicron. I don't think they did just reuse the model. It's based. I think there was some inspiration behind it, but I don't think it's entirely rebuilt from Optimus, unless that does become the story. But we don't know that yet, and that's something we'll have to wait and find out. I I wouldn't understand overly why they'd want to go into the Bayverse when they know really that that kind of constrains them a little bit, but also as well. I feel like that this trilogy may just go up to 2007. Then we see where we go from there. If this movie does well, I'd like to think that they will kickstart into a new direction and move away from the Bayverse. And if not, and they are heading towards the Bayverse, then ideally they'd explain what happened to Unicron and how he went from being the Earth to then wanting to eat the Earth. But uh, you know, it's all over the place. It would just be nice to know whether this is an official reboot or a prequel. But they did the same with Bumblebee, if you remember. They were never quite clear on that. And then when the movie was a success, it was almost like it was starting a reboot. But then they've done that again here with Rise of the Beast, where they haven't overly given away if it's a prequel or a reboot. Lorenzo's playing his cards very close to his chest, like he normally does when it comes to that topic, that is, because he talks about absolutely everything else. Colton Dobbs, do you think Mirage will survive? Yeah, I do. I do think that. I think Mirage will be an important character for the future. I think he's going to be one of the most interesting. I think Pete Davidson's voice is very good for the character as well. Hi, Brian. Good to have you on the stream. What time is it there with you? Good afternoon. It's just gone 9 o'clock here in the UK. I'm wondering maybe if the Decepticons make their appearance. I think we will see the Decept. Don't forget, Transit is a Decepticon, but I think that Transit will get destroyed by somebody, either Optimus or Scourge, and then he will be rebuilt into a Terracon of some sort. Um, I sort of think that's what Scourge does. He takes the insignia and then he tries to make them a Terracon. So that's me theorizing a little bit. But I do think we will see the Decepticons beside Transit in an end credit scene because I can't see why not. If the movie does well, they'll want to build towards having Decepticons in the future installments, I think. Maybe even more Predacons because it doesn't sound like we're going to get any other sort of Predacon except for the Scorponok army now. Mirage is starting to become one of my favorites already. I thought he was cool, but he wasn't one of my favorites until recently. I think he's really good. I think he's a really good character, and it looks like the way that the voice works with him, a little bit cocky of a character, and also because he can talk, it gives him a bit more than Bumblebee. So it makes him an interesting character to have as a focus point, and also allows him to interact much more with the human character in Noah, played by Anthony Ramos. Although Bumblebee did a great job without a voice interacting with Haley Steinfeld. So if it's anything close to as being as good as that, then Mirage is going to be a solid character. For those that don't watch and want to avoid TV spots, because there's one TV spot that's a major spoiler, and I won't say anything about it. Okay. Yeah, well, don't post obviously major spoilers in the chat because that would just be disappointing. I will let you know that the two TV spots that we're going to look at in this stream, one is called Heroes Come in All Forms. And from what I saw of that, there were a few things in it, but nothing to me that ultimately spoils anything, nothing major, but it's worth talking about. And that does have a talk of Apelinq. So just letting you know that. And the other one is Maximals and Autobots rollout. Again, not too much really in it, but some cool moments for us to talk about. So there'll be the two TV spots. So I'll let you know when we do look at them. And if you guys don't want to see them as we talk about them, then obviously jump off and then jump back in. Because I am completely on board with people who don't want to see any sort of TV spots or spoilers because I've felt the same at points. I do personally think that they're giving away a bit too much of this movie. So I hope by the time we get to the cinema, there will be plenty more excitement and plenty more awesome moments for us to see because it's reminded me a little bit of how they treated The Last Night. Transformers The Last Night, I remember the marketing right up to the release date, just like them throwing everything out there. And it wasn't even just in the TV spots, to be honest. If you look at the trailers gave so much away, apart from that very misleading moment where they made out that the good version of Optimus, not Nemesis Prime, but the good version of Optimus was taken out. Was it that? I can't. It was one way or the other anyway. Oh no, not the good version. It was the Nemesis Prime version was decapitating the Infernicons. That's what they put in the trailer. But when you see the movie, it's the good version of Optimus with the blue eyes. The purple-eyed one ended up being in the trailer, which was kind of like, oh, what's going on here? Bad guy, bad Optimus taking on bad guys. Really strange. But I think that was to sucker us all in to go see the movie. And then we all know what happened with Transformers The Last Night. I would love to see a bad guys win scenario. You think it could be done? I think it could end on a cliffhanger. This, if it's going to go into a trilogy. But my worry, Lucas, is if they do that and the movie, let's just say, hopefully it doesn't, but let's say it didn't do well, then we'd be in the same scenario of the last night where they put us on a cliffhanger about Unicron rising and then nothing actually ever came of it. So they have to be very careful if they're going to lead to a scenario where potentially the bad guys could win. So, say the Terracons are actually in control by the end of the movie, or the Predacons have risen by the end of the movie, that we actually do get the next movie because this film did well. Tracking now sounds like it's on track to do well, which was initially misleading from some sources before, saying that tracking wasn't doing well. That's now been corrected and tracking is on track. So, yeah, it's always difficult to know what's going on with things like pre-sale tracking because there's so many misreports. Do you think that Lego will make more sets based on the newer movies in the future since Optimus set came out a while back? I've got that Lego Optimus. He's still boxed at the moment. I really need to get round to making him, but I'd like to. I think this movie could actually. I mean, imagine a Lego version of Primal. That would be pretty epic, wouldn't it? The version from this movie. I think that could look really cool. The gorilla model of Optimus. I'd like that. And Mirage could look pretty good. The one thing, just mentioning figures and Lego and stuff like that. Interestingly, we still haven't seen anything figure related with Mirage without that faceplate. So I'm hoping at some point we're going to see his actual version that we see in the movie. Looking like that in figure form, because we haven't seen that yet. Hopefully in the studio series. But yeah, I do. I think that we could, but it'll all depend on the deal that can be done with Lego. So yeah, it would be awesome though. What if Devastator was in the later Transformers movie? Well, I'd love to see the Devastator that we know from G1, the way it looks. I actually thought the Devastator and Revenge of the Fallen looked pretty cool as well. So, yeah. And I don't know if any of you guys checked it out on my YouTube channel, but I did take some of the audio from a Rise of the Beast trailer and then mashed it up with a Agent Simmons Devastator face-off movie, if you will. So yeah, there was a bit of fun there. So if you guys haven't seen that, go and check it out. It's like a spoof trailer, if you will. Oh, Scourge. Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think he's made by Unicron. Definitely. I think the Terracons are. I think what I'd like to see is that plate, that Terracon plate that's on his head. That's there, like the mask that he's wearing. I'd like to see Unicron, the final piece of him being built, that plate go ding and connect to his face, and it's almost like Unicron's then got in control of him. So yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I agree, Colton. I think she sounds pretty good. She's got a lot of charisma, so I think RC will sound good in the movie. I know that there's a new clip out where she's apparently speaking a bit more, but I haven't seen that one yet. But from what I've heard from that clip with Prime meets Primal, it did sound good. I'm not sure what you mean. It's not going to be on Netflix. No. If anything, it will go from the theater to probably Blu-ray, DVD, and then it will go to Paramount Plus. I'd expect if Paramount have got their streaming service act together, there should be at least a combiner in the later Rise of it. Yeah, I mean, we saw the did they combine? And they didn't really combine. They had multiple alt modes. In Bumblebee, we saw the sort of multiples. Combiners, I think we will see that at some point. I mean, we got a little bit of a combination link up with Battle Trap and Nightbird, although they don't combine, they work together tremendously well in this. So I think it's inevitable that if we do get more of these movies, we'll get maybe a little bit more elaborate sort of working together and transformation. So yeah, it could be possible. Do you think Ratchet and Iron Eye will make? No, I don't. I think we know the Autobots unless there is going to be a surprise, but I don't think so. No, I don't. Has he got an interview with Stephen Cable Jr.? Really? Well, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Is that true? Is that factual? Because that's a pretty good scoop. If you do, that would be amazing. I think it's possible Ratchet and Iodide could be on a moon base. It maybe, but I think we've got a lot of story and a lot of characters to explain in this movie. So I don't know how well it would get over just name dropping characters in this one. Maybe just in the next one they're introduced, if anything, because I think we've got a lot of characters to explain currently. Turbo Master. I hope that Scourge will be his own con since they just did Evil Optimus and it was terrible. Yes. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? I mean, that's the major talking point. It's it, to me, it doesn't really make any sense why we'd want to tie anything that happened in the later Bay movies, because Transformers: The Last Night didn't do very well. It wasn't received well. Didn't have a very good story. I thought it was a bit of a shambles of a movie the way it was pulled together. So I just don't see the reason to want to try and tie it into the Bayverse when you've got good opportunity, and you had a good opportunity with Bumblebee to then move on to this movie, which is supposed to be a follow-up to Bumblebee, although Wheeljack doesn't look like Wheeljack, and we know all that stuff. But this is supposed to be a follow-on. It's the second movie in apparently the continuity, which Stephen Cable Jr. then acknowledges the later movies. But it would just be nice, really, to go Bumblebee, Transformers: Rise of the Beast. If it does well, then we keep going from there. And we don't have to go and look at that other stuff, because that can stand on its own. That's a separate side of things. I kind of understand a little bit why the studio doesn't want to sort of like say the Bayverse is dead, because I think this movie is coming from Michael Bay's production company, and they owe a lot to Michael Bay, the money he's made them with Transformers. But in all fairness, those movies can stand on their own and be on their own. And now we can have a new direction for Transformers, which is good. So, yeah, I don't really understand why we'd want to tie it to Bayverse Optimus. But if we do, and you do it well, then there won't be much of a reason to complain, because you could do that and then you could go in a new direction. And I don't think people would be too unhappy by that. But if we have that and it doesn't make any sense, and we then go in the trajectory towards the Bayverse, I think people will be going, oh dear. So, yeah. Yes, it is. It is a perfect line. It's much more Optimus, isn't it? And that's something I think that we begin to notice through the trailers and TV spots, is that Optimus Prime is more like Optimus Prime. He's not the killing machine, and he's not Samurai Optimus. He's the Optimus Prime from Bumblebee. He's the Optimus Prime from G1, who's much more thoughtful in his approach, and he's just not looking to decapitate Infernicons and obliterate Decepticons. Obviously, if he has to, then he will be drawn into battle. But if he can find a way to negotiate peacefully as well, and protect, then he will. And I think that that's the key for Optimus. And sometimes it got lost in the Bayverse, because Bay wanted to make him this unstoppable character that would always come to the rescue. But in doing so, he'd say things that weren't very Optimus, like "Let's kill them all" and all that stuff. So yeah, terrible Optimus impression, by the way. Do you think it's possible that for once, big bad of the movie will survive? Scourge could survive, I think. I think Unicron will definitely survive because I think it would be pretty disappointing if Unicron was to die in his first ever appearance in this trilogy of movies. I think that he's the sort of character you build towards being destroyed or beaten in some capacity. He's too big to really destroy it in one movie. So if we get to the end of Rise of the Beast and Unicron has been destroyed, I'd be very surprised. I think that would be a little bit of a mistake if they did that. Hi, Leon. No problem. Again, awesome picture with your dog. But yeah, no problem. Welcome. We're going to be here for a little bit yet. And also, we haven't reacted or talked about the TV spots that we're going to have on the stream yet. I'll drop those in shortly. Maybe another, I don't know, 15 minutes before we do that. It's good just having a chat for now. So yeah, all good. Leo 55. I think Scourge has this battle mask thing on his face, and I think at the end of it, at the end of the trailer, it comes off. Yeah, I think that at some point we'll see. Well, that would be. There's been talk. Stephen Cable Jr. did say that the Scourge character has horror elements about him, so whatever's underneath that mask could be pretty terrifying. Hence Terracon. So I think that's kind of cool if they did do that because that would be pretty interesting. Or is it? Or is it? Or is it going to be the Bayverse Optimus face under that Terracon mask? Dun dun dun. Yeah, because it could be. What kind of transformer is Primal considered? A Maximal? No? He's a Maximal. There you go. Turbo answered it. Optimus Prime was a Maximal. They're descendants of the Autobots, but we're not sure what's the difference in the Rise of Beast universe. Well, I think they come from. I think this is taken from the IDW comics. I think the whole background. It's not the same as Beast Wars because apparently they come from their own planet, so it's going to be different. But it's not different that it's made up different. It actually comes from some story from historical Transformers. It's not just made up for the sake of it, which is good. There are two Peters. The first Peter is voiced by Optimus Prime. The second Peter is voiced by Scourge. Yes. Yes, Peter Cullen, Optimus Prime, Peter Dinklage, Sketch. I don't know if that's like something we should tie together. I think they were born with those names. I can't believe that Stephen Cable Jr. was thinking, wait a minute, we need to cast a Peter and a Peter because they're going to be the Optimus Prime version in the Bayverse. I don't know. The Bayverse stuff is just going to rumble on until we see the movie, isn't it? Like it always does. Don't watch the Not Alone TV major spoilers. Okay. I mean, the thing is, every time I go on YouTube, I'm seeing a flash up of someone's uploaded one of the TV spots. I'm only actually looking at TV spots that have been released by like Paramount International, and different territories, but they're not like filmed off of someone's phone from the TV. So yeah, I'm making sure that if I do watch a TV spot, it's something that's legitimate, being released online, in the hope that it isn't too spoilerish. Not sure about that. Think she's pretty busy at the moment. Haley Steinfeld's done doing well for herself. I really wish that they had kept hold of her for further Transformers films. Be nice if she came back and linked up with Bumblebee one more time. That'd be cool. Well, I think that's one of the most important parts of the film. Stephen Cable Jr. said that Optimus Prime's arc is the bulk of the movie, so it's going to be interesting. Yeah, no giving away any sort of major spoilers in the chat, please. Like, just to be like respectful to everyone. And like I said, the TV spots we're gonna check out in the stream. I'll be letting you know when we do that. The Toby Nwigwe song, I like it. I think it's all right, but I like hip hop music. So, and I think the bulk of the movie is going to have a sort of hip hop sort of vibe about it. So, yeah, I like Nas. I think Toby's music's pretty good as well. It's kind of interesting. So, yeah, I'm kind of happy with that style, and then throw in a bit of um, the score as well, which I think will still have that epic sound to it as well that we've had in previous Transformers films. I think it makes quite an interesting balance. It's quite nice. It's a little bit different to the Linkin Park style that we got in the Bayverse. Instead, we're coming with a bit of a hip hop vibe. So, yeah, I'm cool with that. They're all the things that I like. So, I've got no problems at all, and I'm a big fan of Nas as well. So, yeah, I think I agree. I think they should really be careful how much they put out there. I mean, when I say with a TV spot, if it's just a quick shot of something, I know, like for example, today they gave a clip to IGN, and that was a scene with Mirage, and it's basically from the trailers that you've all seen. It's basically an extended. It's not the full scene. They've cut it up and chopped it all up, so it doesn't give too much away smartly, but it is some of the scene of Noah meeting Mirage. So yeah, they just gave that to IGN. I mean, could we just not have that when we go see it in the cinema? Do we really need you to put that out there? Um, I just think that they should really be careful, because if it goes too far, then there'll be nothing to enjoy in the cinema, because that's what you want when you're sitting there. One of my biggest, most excited moments, it was spoiled a long time before, but was seeing Henry Cavill return as Superman in Black Adam. Obviously, it was the world's worst kept secret. It was still very exciting, but just imagine me as a Henry Cavill Superman fan seeing that without knowing. I would have been like, wow, that's awesome. And that's something that I want to feel in this movie, hopefully, with some spots. Like I didn't know that was going to happen. That's so cool. That's what I want to feel. So if they go and show all the money shots in the trailers and TV spots, I'll have nothing left to sort of have that moment, that experience in the cinema. So I hope that they don't. I hope they're careful with what they're picking and choosing. Who the hell is Apelinq? It looks like Transmetal Optimus Primal to me. Okay, so should we have a look at one of the TV spots? Let's see where we are on the chat. I'm going to catch up. I'm going to get to it up to date. You guys want to check out the TV spot, one of the TV spots now? Let me know in the chat, and we can then discuss it. But if you want to avoid, I don't think this is anything that you guys probably haven't seen in these two TV spots, but the things that would be interesting to talk about after we've seen them. So um, yeah, so if you want, you'll have the chance to click away, and then we'll have a chat about it, and then pop back. But I'm just reading the chat first and foremost. Because obviously something I did want to talk about on the stream was Apelinq. So, um, but yeah, it's kind of difficult to talk about that if people don't want to talk about that subject. So, what are you guys feeling in the chat? Let me know. Obviously, we don't have to bring up the TV spots, but it kind of helps. No one wants to watch the TV spots. Okay, no problems. But I'm sure you guys know about the Apelinq character to a degree, no? It's like been everywhere. And also, just to let you guys know that that we'll have a couple of reactions on the channel about TV spots. So, yeah, but again, you guys don't have to watch those. So, but like I said, I was going to show them and then discuss a little bit about them. So that was the idea. So what's everybody feeling? Anybody? If nobody wants to watch the one of the TV spots, then obviously we won't do that. But the only thing that got me confused about Battle Trap is that does he even get a face? Because yeah, I think he does have a face. I think he does have a face. Is it just me, or is there two final battles from the trailers? I think just some of the scenes have maybe been updated. Like the bit, when Primal, is it Primal? Yeah, Primal jumps and meets Battle Trap. I think in the first trailer they just do a normal jump. In the later trailers, it's the spinning jump. So I think that the visuals have just been updated to some degree, and then we have started seeing some extra clips as well now. Okay. Where are the Predacons? I think it's just going to be a Predacon army. Um, so it's going to be the Scorponok army. It's not going to be uh, the Beast Wars characters that we all know and love. I think that if they are going to come up, they'll come up in a future film. So no, unless an end credit scene has Predacon, Megatron, which would be very cool as a T-Rex. But yeah. Oh, I missed this one. Maluk. What's your opinion on Peter Dinklage's voice performance as Scourge so far? I think he sounds good. I think they all sound great, to be honest. Uh, I noticed that Ron Perlman's voice has changed, and yeah, so I think his voice in the first teaser doesn't have any effect on it, and as you start listening to the more later trailers and TV spots, his voice has got a little bit more effect on it, and I think it really works. So, in terms of Peter Dinklage, I think he sounds very menacing. So that's a good thing. Okay, so look, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a warning. So I think we will look at a TV spot, and we're going to look at the Heroes Come in all forms TV spot. So I'm just letting you guys know. So if you don't want to see the TV spot or talk about the TV spot, then it's probably best to click away now. So that's probably the best thing to do. So I'm going to let you guys know. And then, yeah, so you got a couple of minutes. So if you don't want to, yeah. But like I said, if you know about the Apelinq stuff, to be brutally honest, the TV spot doesn't show you much else. But for a visual aid, I thought it was worth showing just so we could have a chat about some of the spots in there. So, yeah, so I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to prep. If you don't want to watch the TV spot, then it's best to click away in a minute or so. No worries, Leon. No worries. No worries. Okay, so we're going to take a look at one of the TV spots. And as I said, this is the Heroes Come in, what was it called? Let me just double check the name. Heroes Come in All Forms is what it's called. Okay, so we're gonna show it. So if you don't want to see it, click away now would be my suggestion. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is a TV spot that has been shown by Paramount, so it's not one that's recorded off of, I don't know, off a telly or something like that. So here, no spamming in the chat as well. Here we go. I'm going to add it to the stream now. Okay. Okay, so if you don't want to see it, then it's best to pop off now, just so you're aware. But if you do, then tell me you're ready in the chat and we will have a look. This one's been online for a little while now anyway, so it's not like this one come out today. So put the volume on. Okay, so let's have a look. 3, 2, 1.
Who are you? We are the Maximals, and we have the power to fight what's coming. What the hell are those?
I don't know what's going on with the volume, but we're definitely getting there. Oh, I know. There we are. Sorry. Still getting used to this. Here we go.
Who are you? We are the Maximals, and we have the power to fight what's coming. What the hell are those? Let's end this.
Okay. So I pretty much covered most of this spot in a previous video anyway. But what I wanted to sort of talk about was the Apelinq aspect of it. So because to me,
Who are you?
there we go. It's very interesting this because a lot of people are saying this is Apelinq, but it could also be Primal, like at a different point in time, or it could be an armored Primal. I don't know. But what's very interesting to me is the planet in the background, because this planet is seen throughout, whether it's a planet or not. But it's very, very interesting to me what this place is. So it hasn't been made clear yet. Is this the Maximals planet? Is this somewhere else on Earth that they can get to? I don't know. But I think this whole concept of where is this taken place is very interesting. So, yeah, it's quite an interesting point of conversation. Um, I think that potentially um, it could be something to do. It could be historical. It could be something to do with um, this taking place prior on the Maximals planet. Unicron comes along, destroys their planet. They flee to Earth. It could be that, or it could be that this is and that could be a character that was defending the Maximals planet, or it could be something else. But I do think it's very interesting. We don't really need the audio, so. But I mean, Air Razor looks fantastic. That shot of Battletrap swinging his mace is really cool, and I love that moment with Primal as well. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, really there isn't an awful lot that's too spoilerish from this TV spot. The bulk of it, I think, has been floating around for a while now. But what do you guys think about Apelinq? And do you think it's Apelinq to start with, or do you think it's something, or do you just think that it's Primal in some sort of armored gear? What do you guys think? I'm waiting for you guys to let me know what you think. Who said that? Original King Kong. Yeah, yes, or Donkey Kong, one or the other. I mean, I think that seems really cool. But I was a little bit like with the whole Apelinq stuff. I was a little bit like, do people really like know of that character? So to have him in there, it's kind of interesting, but it's kind of strange as well. And it's kind of strange as well to reveal that in the TV spots. I actually think it's going to probably be shown in one final trailer anyway. My guess is Apelinq encountering Scourge and Unicron in the beginning. Only a prediction. Yeah, I think that could be that. I think it could be that. But there's also a scene in one of the other TV spots where Prime is looking at that, the background, like I was saying, where you've got the blue running through the mountains, and then there's something at the top of the mountains. Now, if that's on the Maximals planet, how is Optimus looking at that unless it's being projected somehow to him? Or is it somewhere that they go down into the Maximal caves and then it's like an alternate universe or place in the earth or something like that? Could it be something like that? And they've hidden there somehow. I mean, that's just me theorizing. Or could these things that I'm talking about, these what are they, objects that are on top of these peaks of the mountains, are they what are calling Unicron to come and destroy these planets? I don't know. Welcome back, 80s kid. I mean, you didn't miss much. We're just chatting a little bit about the TV spot, but really, I think you've probably seen what was in the TV spot anyway. If I'm being honest, because there wasn't much in it. So yeah, well, that is one. I mean, the beast aspect of Primal, I think, is really coming through as one of the best bits of the movie. I mean, seeing him in battle is so exciting. I think that's something to me that's really standing out, and I'm thinking it's very, very cool indeed. I love seeing some of the battle shots of the gorilla version of Prime. It's awesome. Yep. I think so. Autobot, Zen. Um, I think it's going to be something to do with maybe Unicron assembling Terracons out of broken bodies of Decepticons, the Elite Guard, and whoever else he's destroyed as he traveled around different planets and different universes. Because there's a lot of talk of universes and the multiverse. I don't know if you noticed again on those cards that Paramount released. Unicron is able to travel the multiverse. It was mentioned. So the multiverse is in play in Transformers Rise of the Beast when it comes to this version of Unicron. So what other multiverse has he been to? And where has he been? And who has he destroyed in that process? Well, that's the debate. Is it a new character or is it Primal in some sort of combat mode? Which would make sense if you think that he has encountered Scourge before. So so he knows of Unicron. He says that the darkness is coming. He knows of Scourge. So it all sort of makes sense that maybe that's the encounter prior. And also something that no one's really talked about. If that is the Maximals on their home planet, then does that mean that they're all like gorillas and cheetahs and birds, and they're the life forms that they are originally? And then obviously when they come to Earth, then they're still those forms, but they can blend in more by scanning, say, a proper gorilla or something like. Because that's the bit that makes it a little bit confusing, don't you think? That if this takes place on the Maximal's home planet, that's an ape, isn't it? So I don't know. It's a bit strange. If that's a starting point, then the Maximals haven't come to Earth to blend in and be and as a robot in disguise, as you will, because they're already an ape, a cheetah, a bird. Wheeljack is a nerd. He is. He is. It seems to be. Your honest opinion on Scorponok and appearance of G1 Starscream, G1 Soundwave, G1 Shockwave. Uh, I think the Scorponok is very cool. I think the Scorponok in Rise of the Beast looks great. I think he looks awesome, in fact. I think he looks better than the Bayverse version, in my opinion. I like the head sculpt and the red eyes. I think that all looks great. And I think the main Scorponok looks pretty terrifying. And then you've also got Scorponok drones that are running around as well. So yeah, I'm really liking that. And I'm liking that if they're only a bit part of the movie, then the Predacons haven't been sort of wasted. Because if we then started having, uh, you know, Beast Wars, Predacon, Megatron as a T Rex, only for him to get killed off in this movie, it'd be a real waste of a character. So if we get the Scorponok army as the Predacons in this movie, and then potentially an end credit scene of, say, the T Rex rising, coming to life, building to the next movie, then we get the real Predacons. That'd be pretty awesome. In terms of G1 Starscream, Soundwave, and Shockwave, I don't think we will see them in the movie overall, but we'll never discredit or write off an end credit scene of them featuring, because I do think we will get some sort of Decepticon involvement in a post credit scene after the film. Oh, I think he's a distant cousin of Optimus Primal, if my memory serves. Yeah, well, that could be the case, and I think that would work. And it could be that could be the tie that Scourge murdered, like the Apelinq character or someone like that. But it doesn't answer the question still of why are they apes on the Maximal's home planet? I don't know. You tell me. Because my thoughts would be, was they are their robot forms, like in Beast Wars, they're their robot forms, and then they have to take the forms of beasts to, for the purpose of that, they lack the energon as well, and also for the purpose as well to try and be in disguise in some sort of shape or form. But if they're already beasts on their home planet, that's very different. So not sure if I'm overly keen on that. Maybe, but then again, I don't think Optimus Prime can fly in this movie. So I think they're a little bit more grounded than the Bayverse when all of a sudden Prime can seem to do everything. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure we'll see him fly. We will see him leap, and we will see him leap like a gorilla and also leap in robot mode because we see that final battle. He does that twisting thing. That's very cool. So, yeah, he will be able to leap, all right. And it's a pretty good leap. I think it's Earth, like the first season of Beast Wars. Like in the one episode, the planet has a lot of energon. Yeah, it could be. Could be. Yeah, it'd be interesting if they do talk about energon. I'd like them to talk about that. Maybe there is some sort of that's the reason why they're being, why the Autobots, the Maximals, people come to Earth because it's a place that maybe stores it, but there hasn't really been much talk about that, any sort of deep background to that yet. Optimus Primal being only in a Mac. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm not sure. The seventh Hawkage. If this movie does well, I'm hoping we can get a Beast Wars movie that shows more characters like Dinobot. Yeah. Rampage. Yes. Yes. Inferno as well. I love Inferno. I think that this movie could set up a proper Beast Wars film with the Predacons that we know. If they're smart, they could just do that. They could build that in this movie. But we'll have to wait and see what they sort of the direction that they're going in, because I can't see why you couldn't have an end credit scene right at the end where they discover the bones of a T-Rex, or maybe they use the one in the burnt down museum and then it's the rise of T-Rex Megatron or something like that. Could easily do something like that. Wouldn't be hard. He doesn't, I don't think. It would be cool, wouldn't it? It would be really cool if Gary Chalk would just made some sort of cameo. I'd like that, but I'm not sure if he will or he won't. I think if he was gonna make the cameo, he'd be playing Primal. So yeah, I mean Ron Perlman sounds really good, but it would have been nice if Gary Chalk or David Kaye was involved in this movie, particularly in David Kaye voiced in the Eternals. So David Kaye has done big movies. So it would have been good if he was involved in Transformers, the franchise that he's well known for. I'm thinking Soundwave could pick up transit signal. Possibly, but would he be able to do that if, say, transit is destroyed in the early part of the movie by Scourge or Optimus Prime, which I think he might. I always thought at the end of Bumblebee, the whole signal sequence right at the end where they're trying to send the signal to the Decepticons and it was going to send for them to come down and they stopped that from happening. I always thought we were going to get an end credit scene where the signal actually did get sent. And that's when we see the Decepticons coming down, which would build to a future movie. But I thought that was a really easy way to set up the next Bumblebee film, but it never happened. Opinion about Unicron's goal and Scourge's role with the bounty hunters, and they violate my boy Wheeljack. Okay. Yeah, they. I mean, it's odd. It's odd with Wheeljack, isn't it? Um, yeah, I don't really know what happened with Wheeljack in to a degree. It's not the Wheeljack from Bumblebee, but it is the Rise of the Beasts version of Wheeljack. It's not the G1 version of Wheeljack. It's not the 1986 movie version of Wheeljack. It's just the Transformers Rise of the Beast one. And it doesn't tie in very well to Bumblebee unless they explain why he looks so different. But I don't think they will. In terms of Unicron's goal, I think it's to really destroy the planet Earth if he can, but they're going to have to sort of build that up a bit. Like, I think that by the end of this movie, he will be pushed back maybe to another universe or pushed away, or maybe they'll use the transwarp key to open up it's going to all evolve around this transwarp key that opens up dimensions, and maybe they can send him back somewhere else, which would, I mean, they could send him somewhere where it then does indeed tie into the Bayverse, but that side, they could send him somewhere, and then gradually he finds his way back, which builds up his presence to the next movie and the one after that. Because I really do think that if they're going to do Unicron right, they should do multiple movies, because they could then, if he's sent away, show his destruction on his path back to Earth or wherever he's going to go. And also, it could be that they go to another dimension for that final battle. It's not so clear that it is set on Earth, so we'll have to see. But I think that's his plan, and Scourge is his big heavy that goes in there and gets the job done, and he's been doing it for many years, many centuries. I've got a question about Transformers franchise. Is that if that blaster will continue? I don't think the Chip and Dale movie ties into any continuities, but yeah, kind of funny. Yeah, I saw that. It was cool, that movie. I mean, it had loads of Easter eggs. It was very fun. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out on Disney Plus. It's cool. Which movie poster should I buy? The Optimus Prime one or the newest one? I like. Oh, there's so many posters. I like the original Prime one, the first character poster. Then I also like the new like action shot Prime poster where Prime's sort of looking up, and then you have the shot of him crashing into Scourge. I like that poster as well. So both the Prime posters are very nice. But I also really like the Maximal. Is it the I think it's the 4DX poster of the Maximals. It's yellow and black. I really like that poster. I think that's a really awesome poster, and it represents Rise of the Beast really well. And also, God, there's so many. But the new one is a nice poster with all the characters on. I gather you're referring to that. It's a bit like an Endgame poster. That one's pretty cool as well. So I mean, you can't go wrong. They're all really nice. I don't think there's any that I'd go, oh, that's a hideous poster. But yeah, so if you do get one, make sure you take a picture of it, tweet me or something like that, and show me if you get it framed, because I really want to get one of these posters and I want to get one framed. But I've got to find the right place to either get the print made if I can't get the poster, and then find a good frame for it. So yeah, I'm always loving seeing people's setups or posters that they've had framed or anything like that. Any memorabilia, it's very cool indeed. So make sure you let me know. Hi, Ollie. You comment on my videos a lot, I've seen. Will Megatron appear? Maybe. If he's not on ice still from the Bayverse, then Yeah, hopefully in an end credit scene, it would be worth. I think having Megatron appear in the end credit scenes would be very cool and be a very exciting moment as long as it's not given away. Yes, I'll answer that one as well. I'm gonna go watch Transformers: Dark of the Moon. See you soon. Enjoy. Have a good one. I was thinking at some point to possibly do like a watch party for one of the Transformers films. I think obviously we can't show it here on the screen, but if you guys watch it along with me, that'd be kind of an interesting experience. But that's something maybe to come a little bit later on. If you guys are interested in that, be sure to let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. I think this movie will do well. I think we can have one series inspired by original G1 cartoon and a spin-off. Well, it really depends on what they want to do. I saw the other day they started talking about again that they want to do a Transformers link up with GI Joe. I really have no interest in that. I hope they don't do that. I think they've got so many good characters in the Transformers universe. They should focus on getting Transformers really good right now. So originally, what I thought was going to happen was they were going to do a Bumblebee second movie, which was a buddy movie with Optimus Prime, and a Beast Wars movie. So it would be two separate films. That then changed because they didn't do the buddy movie and they moved it all into like a merged script where it was Optimus Prime continuing his path from Bumblebee, but then with the introduction of Beast Wars, which created Transformers Rise of the Beast. So the Joby Harold script has been made from, I think, two scripts. I don't know if it includes James Vanderbilt's script because he wrote a Beast Wars film, but it didn't get taken forward. The Joby Harold script did, but maybe taking elements from that has actually then come together to create this movie. So if it is, that's two scripts merged. And just remember, the last time we had that was Transformers the Last Night. So just saying, just saying. But yeah, they certainly could do two different sets of movies. They could do tons. They could do so many. They could do standalone movies on each character. They saw how well Bumblebee did. If you get the right director, that's the most important bit, and the right script, the right story, they're the key bits. If they get them, you can tell a story about any of these characters as well as, say, an Iron Man or a character from Marvel, because Transformers has great characters. I'm really glad they're giving RC some real screen time as a character because she didn't have that much time in Revenge of the Fallen and Bumblebee. Yeah, I mean she got done really dirty in Revenge of the Fallen, didn't she? The opening scene was pretty good in that movie where she was chasing sideways, but after that, I mean, she gets obliterated in Egypt. Michael Bay didn't like that character. I've got a video about that on my channel, so you can, if you haven't watched that, go watch one of the Secret Files videos that talks about RC and how he didn't really want to use that character, but for some reason he did. I think he used her so he could blow her up. I don't get it, but there you are. But yeah, so RC wasn't really liked in the Bayverse, but in Bumblebee, she looked promising. And now I feel like we're getting the character done pretty well. And actually being a character in the live action universe, dialogue and all that. So yeah, when Liza Koshy said this is like the first time RC's been in a film, I don't think what she was implying was like that she wasn't knowledgeable of RC being in other movies. It was more the case that she was just saying this is sort of the first time she's actually had a proper role in one of these films, which is correct. So I know there was quite a few people out there that thought it was disrespectful that she didn't know the franchise, the live action universe. I think that was maybe being taken a little bit out of context. I'm thinking Wheeljack got blasted in the face or something. Maybe, but I hope they explain. It would be nice. I don't think they will, but it'd be nice if they explained why Wheeljack looks the way he does. He just reminds me of like a Donatello character from the Turtles now. So yeah, it doesn't really bother me anymore. Like I don't understand why they redesigned him, but I think the design is actually quite a nice design. It's not Wheeljack that we know, but I've just sort of come to terms with that. It's the Wheeljack in Rise of the Beast. I don't think we'll get one of those this time around. Unless it's an end credit scene. Right at the end, something on Cybertron, which would be cool. Like Frank Welker as Megatron saying Megatron's coming to Earth or something like that. Or Megatron communicating with Unicron. Maybe we see a future where Autobots failed and Unicron destroyed Cybertron. Well, there is obviously this talk that Unicron has destroyed the Bayverse, which is from a different timeline, so to speak. So it's in a different part of the multiverse. So, I mean, it's really hard to work out if any of this is going to come true. But you know that's sort of the way people are talking is that, oh well, he could have done this in the multiverse somewhere, and now he's come to this version of Earth because he destroyed another version of Earth, and that's where he picked up Scourge, built him out of Prime. But these are all theories and speculation. So we never quite know what's going to be true yet. That certainly hasn't come from the director. He's just implied that this is the second movie in the timeline of Transformers, so he's not discrediting the Bayverse at all. I don't think he'll get that, but never know. I'm just very interested. My main interest that I'm a bit like confused about with the movie so far, where I'm like, I can't wait to find out the reason, is the whole thing with the Apelinq character and all the other detail around the maximal planet. Like, are those scenes taken in a flashback, or are those scenes of actual Primal, not Apelinq on his home planet? And how does it work with them being an ape there if then they are an ape on Earth? Because to me, like I've said in this stream, I honestly thought that if they were on their home planet, they would be the bots. But it seems like if that's all set on their home planet, they can be beasts there. So I don't know. Mirage reminds me a little bit of Smokescreen from Transformers Prime. Nice observation. I never liked the idea of frozen Megatron. It ruined the Bayverse timeline. I didn't really think it ruined the timeline in the first movie. I thought it was cool. I kind of liked that idea that he came down before searching for something. It was only when they started rearranging the timeline in its entirety, even in Dark of the Moon, it sounded okay when they had the idea of Sentinel Prime having that rendezvous point with Megatron, but it never happened. That was all cool. It was only when The Last Night came along and they just then completely obliterated that story by saying that the Transformers were on Earth before, and Bumblebee was actually around in wartime as something like BB 777, whatever. I don't know. I just know this was really, really screwed everything up. Definitely didn't need to go there. I don't know what the obsession was to do that. If you're going to do that, at least be more smart. But if you actually watch the Transformers The Last Night special features on the DVD, if you have picked that up, I did. But if you actually watch that, the merging of the scripts really have no thought about Transformers. It's a thought about having medieval aspects. It's about having World War aspects, and it's about using memorabilia from both of those times and the history of all of that. And then it's like right at the end, it's like and giant transforming robots. It's like a total afterthought of the script, the way it's brought together in the writers' room. Why? First and foremost, Transformers, then the history goes behind it. But that's what they did. But luckily enough, from that writers' room, Bumblebee came from that writers' room. Christina Hodson pitched that, and that didn't get taken forward initially by Michael Bay, but it did get picked up in the aftermath. Hi, MMR Productions. Sorry if I'm a little bit late getting to this, but I'm just going down the chat. I'm not going to show any more TV spots as well, just so you guys know. We did one, and it didn't really show very much, but we can talk about things anyway, so it's absolutely fine. And I also get people want to avoid spoilers as well, so that is fine. I will let you know that I am doing a couple of reactions on the channel to some of the TV spots, so that'll probably be best suited, and you'll know when they come up, so you can avoid them, but or watch them if you want to see them and see my reaction to them. But yeah, so just letting you guys know. I'm also concerned about Wheeljack's design. It's not too bad, but they could do him better with a G1 accurate look instead of like Steve. Yeah, I understand people's reservations and dislike to the design. I like the design. I'm all right with the design, but I am in agreement that it isn't the Wheeljack that everyone knows. But I do think that if they had called him something else, everyone would have complained about that. They would have been like, why did you use this robot when we could just use Wheeljack? Why did you use this robot when we could just use Brawn? Why did you use this robot? We could use someone else, Ratchet. I think we would have got that argument if they'd done a different one. But obviously, the solution would have been to have used the model that we saw in Bumblebee and update that. But as I said, they need to explain why he looks so different and why he's the only bot that really looks majorly different from what we saw in Bumblebee, if this is a true follow-up to Bumblebee, which Stephen Cable Jr. says it is. Yeah, I'd like this. I'd like this a lot. A solo Starscream movie, because Starscream is an awesome character. I really like Galvatron, as you've seen from my pictures on my channel and my avatar. But yeah, Starscream, one of my favorites. I love how deceiving he is. I think he would make such a cool movie just because he's so deceitful, and the way he decepts everybody, and the way he's willing to stab everybody in the back if he can, and he thinks he's doing it for the right reason. So yeah, cool. Very cool indeed. I hope they don't pull a Lightyear by having Scourge to be revealed as a future version of Prime. Well, that might happen. This is like the never-ending rumor, isn't it? So until we see the movie, we're all going to be, we're all going to be saying this right up to the release. Don't know. Actually, I was talking about Rise of the Beast versus Unicron killing Rise of the Beast future Cybertron. Could be, maybe. I'm very intrigued to see what they're doing with the whole multiverse thing and portals and time, because it can either be really cool and really interesting, or it could be just very confusing. Everything that I see now with this movie, I just find it more exciting. Like I said, I didn't really want to watch the TV spots before, but I'm getting more drawn in, and I'm just very excited now. I just want to see the film. I can't wait to see it. I think Scourge looks like a good villain. Optimus looks like the Optimus that we know. Bumblebee still looks interesting from Bumblebee. Mirage looks like a great character. And then the the Maximals are great. Optimus Primal looks like a very interesting character, very exciting character, very brutal character as well, if tested. Um, and then it also looks like sub characters like Battle Trap and Nightbird also will be bringing the heat to back up Scourge, which is great. And then on top of that, we've got all of this going on. And then we've got the looming presence of Unicron, and we've got Predacons involved in some capacity. And not to mention the Terracon army of the freezers and whatnot. There's so much going on in this movie. It's cool. I'm excited about that. Just hope that the story backs it up and it's not just like all this stuff with no real path to go down to get to the next movie. I don't think Steve Cable Jr. is going to make that mistake. I think he sort of knows what he wants to do next. He's talked about that he's got plans for Decepticons. So as long as the movie does well, I think we will get the trilogy, and I think Cable Jr. will be back. I wonder if Shockwave will be introduced in the mid credits. Yeah, I think we sort of touched on that. If Megatron isn't commanding Cybertron and he's wherever, then Shockwave would seem a viable option because he was almost like the commander in the G1 scene that we saw in Transformers Bumblebee. Okay, Turbo Master. I'm maybe a bit late, but if you're still around, have a good day, have a good week, and yeah, I'm sure we'll speak again soon. And yeah, plenty of more stuff to come based on the movie as we ride the wave that is Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Yeah, I think now we have to sort of accept that the Porsche is Mirage. I think they could probably still introduce another Porsche and it be Jazz, just looks slightly different. You will have to remind me of your expectations, Cameron. But if you do, then I will tell you on stream. I just think you'll get an end credit scene of one of the characters. You might get the backing other characters, but I don't think you're going to get like a confrontation scene between two Decepticons. It might be too complicated. I think what you just want in that end credit scene is a bit like, for example, Henry Cavill as Superman turning up. But this time around, you have Megatron's looming presence, and somehow it connects to whatever the outcome of Rise of the Beast is. Is it that Unicron couldn't get the job done, or is it that Unicron is going to get the job done and Megatron doesn't like that? Could be any of those options. Well, we did talk about this when we looked briefly at the TV spot. I don't know still at the moment if that is 100% Apelinq that everyone's talking about and saying it is. It could be an armored primal from his own home as well. My main thing that I take away from that is that the beasts are beasts on their own planet, which is very strange to me. If it's all set on their own planet, it's like a prequel scene. You know, we're saying that the gorilla exists on this planet before they come to Earth. Or are we going to get some sort of story where they've been to Earth before, they've gone away and they've come back? And Yeah, so but yeah, I think the character or whoever that is very intriguing. I was surprised they dropped it in a TV spot. Yeah, I mean, they could do Seekers, couldn't they? That would be really cool. Um, but you have to be aware that that would have to draw for because the trouble is with Transformers films is they're always looking for the big money. So, if you're a fan of Transformers, a Starscream movie would be amazing. But if you're a casual fan, the idea of like a Seekers movie might not really hook you. So, obviously, this is why I think they made the jump from Bumblebee to Rise of the Beast because they wanted to hook more people in. And I think now it's doing the job. Like I never really understood those low projections in the first instance, and now they've been made false. But I think like this movie looks really good. I don't really get what I don't think it looks like a Bayverse movie because I think the characters have more heart and more um and you can tell them apart much better than the Bayverse films. The issue is to the casual is making it clear that it isn't a Michael Bay film. And that's something that Lorenzo de Bonaventura doesn't do very well because he always sits on the fence whether this is connected in any capacity, which is a shame because I think that maybe that might be part of the problem. If you could bring only one of these Transformers series from another season, if you could bring only one of these Transformers series for another season, would it be Transformers Animated or Transformers Prime or Transformers Cybertron? Could I just not get more Beast Wars? No, I love Transformers Beast Wars, so I'd kind of go outside of those. But if I had to choose one of them, I quite like David Kay as Optimus Prime. So but Transformers Prime's pretty good. I don't know. No, I'm not sure. I think they've all got positives. So I'm going to do a Lorenzo and sit on the fence. How would you rank each movie from least to greatest? I should really do a video on something like that. Maybe I'll do that after Rise of the Beast. Um, okay, but I'll just tell you now anyway. Yeah, I think the 1986 movie is the best because when you watch that movie back, it still stands the test of time. The characters are all great. The Unicron presence is amazing. Um, Everything's so interesting about it. Even the transition with the Megatron to Galvatron, the voice changing as well, having Frank Welker, then Leonard Nimoy. There's a lot of really great stuff about that, and so many characters as well. So the 1986 movie is going to sit at the top. Then we go into the live action universe. Okay, let's go from worst to greatest. Then worst is Transformers: The Last Night. Then Transformers: Age of Extinction. Then Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. Yeah. Then Transformers: Dark of the Moon, which I really like. Yeah. Then Transformers 2007, and then Transformers Bumblebee. So my top live action movies is Transformers Bumblebee, but the 2007 movie's got great nostalgia as well. I really like Dark of the Moon. I went and saw that at the cinema multiple times. I don't think Revenge of the Fallen, it's a bit of a mess, but I don't think it's that bad. I think as a trilogy, 2007, then Revenge of the Fallen, and then Dark of the Moon is a nice little trilogy to have. If Revenge of the Fallen was a bit better, That would have been great. And I think Bay should have bowed out then. Age of Extinction's okay. But it just doesn't. It's not. There's nothing really to get too invested. Visually, it's a really nice movie. Lockdown's a good character as well. And then the last night, yeah, it's the last night. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, it holds no. Uh, it just doesn't have any continuity with the rest of the films. It ruins the continuity. So that's why I don't like it. My big issue is when you're trying to build like a universe and then you do something that ruins the continuity. And Transformers: The Last Night did that, exactly that. So yeah, not great. What else we got? I'm just catching up. Yes, I've seen the Transformers reactivate stuff, but we're not really talking about it too much on this stream today. But we will in the future. We'll definitely talk about it a bit more. Oh, hi, Alfonso. Someone said you're going to get to interview Stephen Cable Jr. Is that true? Is that true? Because that is cool. If you're going to get that chance, amazing. I mean, that is really awesome. But then they might just be jerking my chain or pulling my leg. But if so, very, very awesome. I hope you're doing well anyway. But yeah, I was just saying to everybody that I am very excited about Rise of the Beast now. I can't wait. We did touch on a TV spot earlier, but I'm also fully aware that many want to avoid the TV spots. But yeah, I can't wait for this movie now. I was saying to my brother that it's very, very, very exciting. Oh, right. How cool. Let me click on that. Awesome. Yeah, very, very exciting indeed. That must have been amazing. Yeah, he seems like a really nice guy as well. So, yeah, lucky, lucky, lucky. I'll be watching that. I'll look forward to it. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. I hope you asked. Yeah, I hope you asked. Why did they redesign Wheeljack? Everyone's going to be asking you that question. If not, no worries. I don't think he would have answered it anyway, but maybe he did. Maybe he did. I'm wondering if Cyclonus will show up. I wouldn't bet on it. Cyclonus is a cool character, though. I like Cyclonus, indeed. He's incredible. He said a lot of things he hadn't said before. Lots of insight and elaboration. Spoiler free. I did ask about Wheeljack's redesign and also the bait. Oh, wow. Yes, that will definitely be worth watching him. That would be very cool to see what he says on that. I imagine he was very careful with what he said on those questions. Yeah. But yeah, awesome. Glad you asked, because I don't think, unless you're sort of in this realm, like as a Transformers fan, if you're just like standard media, I don't think you would be asking that question, because I think every sort of media outlet is just asking the standard questions and not getting any sort of deep dive into the characters. So the fact that you're a Transformers fan and you've asked him that question, that's awesome. Yeah, he was careful. I bet he was. I'll be honest, that's one thing that I really like about Stephen Cable Jr. is that every time I've seen his interviews, he's not giving away like really major things. He's like he's being quite careful because he wants you to see his movie and appreciate his movie. I don't know if Paramount appreciate that much because they seem to be giving everything away. But yeah. If the Stunticons were in the movie, how would you react? I think that'd be very cool. I'd like to see Constructicons redone if we can. Get a version of Devastator that looks different to the Bayverse version. No, that's cool. That's really cool. Well, they're the best interviews as well because you get to ask questions that are more, more what the fans want to hear. I went to the Transformers the last night. It was I think you actually asked a question at that when from the event that was in London, and it got read out. But yeah, I was at that event, and most people were fans at that event, and the questions that came up from fans were far more interesting than just the basic media questions. So it's always better. Do you think Bumblebee should get his voice back for other future movies? I think there's a nice novelty about him not having the voice, particularly when it was done the way it was done in Bumblebee. Um, that whole thing with Hailee Steinfeld just worked perfectly, so that was great. Um, but I also really liked hearing his voice in Bumblebee. So, and I would get the same voice actor as well if we could, because I think he did a good job. But someone would have to repair his voice, wouldn't they? Someone would have to do that. So who's going to do that? Wheeljack? Maybe. That'd be cool. Possibly. I think though someone like Alita 1 won't be because she's going to be in that Transformers 1 stuff. So I think they might keep some characters away from the live action for Transformers 1, which is a little bit of a different take. Well, yeah, so roll on to your interview. I'll be looking forward to that. That's very cool indeed. But yeah, overall, I think now, unless you're just really like, you really don't like the wheeljack design, I'm not entirely sure what there is to majorly dislike what you've seen from this movie. I think all the action scenes, I never really doubt the Transformers action. I always think it's really, really good. It always looks good. It's like what people say that are sort of outsiders from the Transformers fandom. The trailers always look amazing, but really, the main point is the movie good and will the story be good? And I'm always, for me, Bumblebee had a great story. I actually thought the action was pretty good as well in that movie. It was on a smaller scale, of course, but I thought the action sequences and the interaction between those Decepticons were really good, and those Decepticon villains were really good Decepticons. So yeah, for me, it's the story. It's really important, and I hope Joby Harold's story is really good. Stephen Cable Jr. said that he did some rewriting over past Christmas, so hopefully for the better. Joby Harold's involved in The Flash as well. He did the screenplay in The Flash, so I mean, he's got two big movies coming out at the same time, so could be good. I've looked at Joby Harold's history. I didn't think there was too much to it, but if Transformers: Rise of the Beast is good, and then The Flash, it could be like a Christina Hodson moment. Wreckers. I don't think we'll get Wreckers in this movie. What's this? Let's read this one. Tenzin, what are you saying? Bro, I just saw a disturbing story. According to Michael Bay in the Transformers, the movie 2007, Megatron's head was supposed to be Starscream concept, but later changed and gave Megatron the original look. I've never heard that before. I did see the original concept art of Megatron. It was a bit strange. He didn't look like he had any eyes. He just looked weird. He didn't really look much like anything. He just looked like a bit alien. So I think what they came up with in the end was probably better. But I'd never heard the Starscream fact. Yes, I don't know. When did that come up then? When did he say that? I don't know. Michael Bay come up with some interesting things. I like the Bay movies, to be honest. Overall, I think they did a few. Bay was all about big, high action making them look as visually impressive as possible. The writing wasn't always great for the movies, and it always had the classic Bay humor and the 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 Bay moments, if you will. Because if you look at his other movies like The Rock, Bad Boys, his other franchises, they've all got the same sort of look, feel, vibe, and tone. And so that's just Michael Bay. That's the way he does his films. So yeah, uh, but he does like to be bold with his decisions. So it wouldn't surprise me if he did something like that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, B versus Dropkick was great. That moment where he wraps the chain and he pulls it apart and it just goes, blah, 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 blah. That was so good, so good. And the chase as well when Haley Steinfeld's running and they're knocking the boats out the way. Really good action scenes. Simple, smaller scale, like limited robots. I think Rise of the Beast has taken some inspiration from that with the way that the shots are done for these with the visual effects. So I think they should do that. But what's interesting as well is this movie is definitely more visually heavy than props and sets, because Michael Bay's movies, I know there was a tweet or something about how the Bayverse camera judders and his scenes are not as steady, but in Transformers Rise of the Beast, the cameras, well, it's a CG shot mostly for the Rise of the Beast stuff, whereas Michael Bay actually had physical sets that he would set up and he'd blow up cars on the set, which would make it a lot more intense action. So it's really what your preference is. But I think you should have an appreciation for both aspects. It takes a lot to have a set and do it the way they do, and then integrate the robots into that setting compared to just creating it all out of CG, which again is very impressive. I'm one of those people that can appreciate both. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. This is SD. I don't think so. He's going to transform into a gun, isn't he? I have got Beast Machines on. At Christmas, my brother got me a copy of season 1 Beast Machines. I haven't got around to watching it yet, but I do want to watch it. I just wrapped up watching most of Beast Wars, but you can't get like season 2 of Beast Wars on DVD or Blu-ray anywhere. Like you just can't. I think that Hasbro are going to start uploading them on their YouTube channel at some point, but that's not the same, you know. My version of Beast Wars that I've got on DVD is like a German version, and luckily enough, it's got the English version in the hidden in the not they're not hidden, but in the options you can change it to English. But yeah, so I love Beast Wars, and Beast Machines looks really good. That's why I wanted it, and luckily enough, my brother got it for me. So yeah, I'll be binge watching that at some point. The intro of Beast Machines has got a cool intro as well, good music. Oh, Dino. You mean, yeah, the Dino Mirage Ferrari version. Yeah, but it's not. Again, it's like I'm not really sure what it is. It's not really a Mirage, is it? It's not G1 Mirage. It's just an idea of a character with that name. He was cool though. He looked cool. Had like the uh the whip things that he grappled with the Decepticon dreads. When I heard Scourge's voice from The Rise of the Beast, his voice sounded very familiar comparing to Dropkick's voice. Is he reborn? I don't know, but there's so many rumors of people being reborn and recreated from, different parts of Transformers for this movie. It'll be very interesting to see if any of them are true. I think that's something I'm looking forward to finding out, to be honest. Finding out if Scourge is Bayverse Prime, and if this character came from this version of the Bayverse or from some other universe, I mean, it's so nice to find these details out, because these are all the talking points that we all keep talking about. I think they should have done a John Cena Agent Burns Paramount Plus series. I think that would have been awesome, about him in Sector 7. But I think it's too late now, because he is, of course, Peacemaker. But I think that would have been a really great. I think it should have retained him and Haley Steinfeld. So a Paramount Plus series on something like Sector 7, Cemetery Wind could be really cool. But obviously, it depends on the budget if it would work for Transformers. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I'm hoping to see the movie on June 6th, an early screening, but not sure yet. Waiting for confirmation. But it would be cool. Would be cool. If not, I'll be seeing it on the day. So June 9th, June 8th. It's really weird. It's like I was every video I've said June 9th, but it's starting to waver now, isn't it? It's like, is it June 8th? Decepticons do deserve more spotlight in Transformers media. How cool if there is a TV show or a movie about Decepticons do bad things. Again, I think there's so much room for the Transformers universe to expand. I think you could have a Paramount Plus series about a Decepticon. You could have a movie about a Decepticon. It all depends on the story, and it all depends if Paramount are confident that it will make some sort of profit. Because even with Bumblebee, it did well, but as you've seen, it didn't do well enough for it to be a Bumblebee 2, and instead they went for the jugular with Transformers Rise of the Beast. Why? Because they think more more bots, all culminates into more money and it doing better at the box office. That remains to be seen, because I thought Slow and Steady was a better choice to go Bumblebee, then a Bumblebee second movie. And you could do another movie on the side, but they didn't. They just went full on for Rise of the Beast. And it looks great at the moment to me, but does it look great to a casual? We'll have to see on ticket sales. But yeah, they could do so many things with the Transformers franchise. I think they're like scratching the surface. When they say, I'll do a trilogy of films, they should be looking to build a huge universe for Transformers and have multiple movies. Don't forget, we've got Anguel Manuel Soto, who's doing the Blue Beetle film. He is suspected to be doing a Transformers film. It's still in the diary. So that's another movie. I don't know what that's going to be. Don't be a G.I. Joe crossover, please. Not gonna lie, I was expecting Scourge to sound similar to the likes of Thanos. Well, I think they said he was going to sound like a horror character, so I think the Dinklage voice is working well. It would be interesting. Coleman Domingo, who voices Thanos, sounds like a kind of like dark side, like knowledgeable. He sounds good. So, like Ray Porter in Zack Snyder's Justice League did Darkseid pretty well. So I suspect it will be something like that. Ray Porter? Yeah, I think it was. All right, guys, I think we'll run for another 10 minutes and then we'll wrap things up, because would have been streaming for about 2 hours then. So I think that's about right. We did go through one of the TV spots slightly, but then I sort of gauged the room and thought, you guys maybe don't want it on the stream. So we'll go with potentially holding back any like that for separate videos. If you were given the chance to put together a Transformers team of 5, who would you pick? What, like an ultimate team? So like I can have Autobots and Decepticons, Terracons, or are we sticking to one tribe, one section? So Autobots only? What would you say? Yeah. Well, to be honest, the Simmons character I used to find quite annoying, but kind of find him quite endearing now. And yeah, I think it could probably work quite nicely, but you probably have to use the younger version. Again, that's why I said the Agent Burns spin-off could probably work. But the Simmons character, it depends what you do with him, to be honest. But I've forgotten the actor's name that plays Simmons now. I can't believe this. He's in the Batman as well. No, let me check. Can't believe I've forgotten this. John Turturro, yes. Oh my days, that was bad. How forgetful of me. Yeah, John Turturro's great, so it'd be nice to see him do something. But I just found that they just made his character so over the top towards the end. I mean, in Transformers: The Last Night, did he really need to be in that movie? Not really. Not a lot needed to be in that movie that they had. What other Autobots would you like to see get their live action G1 design? I thought Brawn was pretty good. Ratchet looks good. Like, you don't need to change that character. Ironide in the red would be nice. Like, don't make him like the Bayverse one. If you did introduce but the trouble is like you've changed it now, haven't they? So they're like Scourge is not Scourge from G1, so you couldn't really have Scourge, Cyclonus, and Galvatron because it wouldn't really work. That would be cool if all three of them were purple. That would look amazing. But yeah, they've changed some of these things too much. I told you I'd like to see the original Devastator in the form of a bot. He could take on Unicron, couldn't he? Oh, very nice. Enjoy. Have a good week, Autobot Zien. Yes, I'm going to transform and roll out to sleep, and I need some energy on to charge. And she says, yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah, have a good one. Thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate it. Well, hopefully that's what Unicron will be. I think Scourge is going to be a good villain. It's interesting though, because I know that Scourge is taken from elements of different things, but there's not so much up in arms that this version of Scourge isn't, G1 Scourge. But yeah, but the Wheeljack one is like everybody's up in arms. The team has to be Autobots, from anyone to G1 Grimlock, to anyone you can think of. Stop any new threat. Okay, so obviously they will be led by Optimus Prime. I would definitely have him in there. I would have Bumblebee. I would have Bumblebee as well. I would have Ironide for sure, and Ratchet. So I've already got my 4. I probably have Elita 1 as well over RC. I mean, there's so many. 5 is not enough. Like, yeah, I'd probably like Grimlock in there as well, but he's too troublesome. He caused too many issues. I like the team that I've picked is like very harmonious. They'd work together really well. Bumblebee might be a little bit of a problem there, but Optimus would keep him in line. But yeah, but I feel like you've got a good balance. You've got the leadership of Optimus, you've got the young Bumblebee, then you've got Elita 1, who provides some knowledge. You've got Ironide, who's the power, and then you've got Ratchet, who's there to help medically and repair. So yeah, I think that's a good balance. What would we be cooking exactly? You should go to there's a restaurant, isn't there, that's opened. I'm not sure where it is now, but it's got burgers that look like the Autobot symbol. So very cool. You should search it up. Okay, so we've not got long left, guys. So get your questions in. Do you think if we get a Unicron toy, it will be a Commander class or a Titan class? Ooh, oh my god, how expensive is that going to be? Um, Either or, but I think it's going to be pricey. Whatever it'll be, like the Devastator that they released for Revenge of the Fallen. It'll be very costly as well. But if you get it, keep it because it will be a collector's one. Because the Devastator, I think, goes for quite a bit now. Not that I would sell it because I keep all my figures, so and most of them are boxed. So until I get a good display. Should Optimus Prime always have a face or a faceplate? I don't think it really matters, to be honest. I think the faceplate worked perfectly fine in Bumblebee. If they want to go to the effort of having the mouth and animating the mouth, then so be it. But it wasn't really necessary. But I think they've made the decision where they all have to have a mouth and then a faceplate, a battle mask. So yeah, the only one we haven't really seen too much because we've seen RC has like the protective eye guards. We've seen Optimus has a plate, obviously. Mirage has apparently got one. So it just looks like they've gone for this sort of battle mask or more like down to earth mode. So I don't think it was necessary. I think it maybe caused more issue to create, if anything, because it worked in Bumblebee quite well. Good choice. I like that one. Yeah, well, there is. I think in Rise of the Beast, he's killed some elite guard characters, hasn't he? So, Scourge. So you might find out about other aspects of Transformers in this movie if they want to go into the insignias that he's took. But I don't think they will. I think they're just going to have them as symbols, and then he'll take one from somebody, and it will be that they're all based on that. But yeah, it would be cool to, as I've said before, so many aspects of the Transformers world that hasn't been delved into. So when Lorenzo de Bonaventura says we're done with Decepticons because we've sort of done too much of them, and they'll probably revisit them later on. But to say you've done Decepticons when you really only scratched the surface, there's so many good characters. This is what I mean. They should sort of roll it back a bit and actually go into more of a deep dive of the characters and think before they just sort of kill them off, because you could do plenty with them. Transformers character deserves to have spotlight than any other character. Optimus Prime, I still think that we haven't really had that movie yet where it's the definition of Optimus. I think we might be getting it in Rise of the Beast, but I also think that Primal could steal this movie. So Primal just looks amazing. I'm not sure. I have to wait and see until we see how this movie ends, because it's very interesting where this movie's going to go. I'm very, very excited to see. All I want is when I go into the cinema to have a great story, one that works, some answers to some of the questions that we've had in the build up to this. Is it connected to the Bayverse? And if it isn't, is it a clean break from the Bayverse? And then does it set up nicely for the future of Transformers? They're the sort of things that I'd like to see. I'm hoping I don't see that we're still constrained to the Bayverse, so we can't do other things and new things, because that's what I feel sometimes the Bayverse does. It holds back this franchise because they're not allowed to go too far, because then it encroaches into work that they don't want to touch. So yeah, but I just want a great story. And if this was a one and done, and say that the movie doesn't do the money, but it's a good movie, I'm still cool with that, because, well, I obviously want to see more Transformers films, but in terms of if it's another really good, solid Transformers film, that's key to me. I'd a lot rather it be a really great movie than, oh, it did $1 billion, but it was terrible. Because then you get another one, but you probably wouldn't go see that one. Or obviously fans will, but I want a good story. I want the Bumblebee level story, just on a bigger scale. Okay, a couple more, and then we'll finish things up. Who's the best rival to Bumblebee in your opinion? Rival to Bumblebee? What in live action? I thought Shatter and Dropkick were pretty good characters to rival him. I think he's better on a slightly smaller scale. I think Starscream's a bit too big for him. I'm just thinking, who would I say would be interesting? I mean, like looking at the rivalry that he had with Blitzwing in the Bumblebee movie, that's the sort of cool rivalry for him. If it's in his own movies, I think if you move into to the territory of the big guns like your Starscreams and stuff, there to me where Optimus has to step in. So I'm not sure, but I think there's a certain level. Cool. Well, we're wrapping up now anyway, MMR. So thank you for joining me, and enjoy your food and have a great week. Cool, guys. I think on that note, we will wrap up the stream here. It's been 2 hours and I've really enjoyed talking with you guys. We did do a little bit of a reaction to one of the TV spots, but I obviously gauged that you guys didn't want too many spoilers in here as well. You just wanted to sort of chat about things. So we sort of stuck along those lines. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, please do drop a like on the video. Please do make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well, because that means a lot to me. And make sure you have notifications turned on, because we're going to be talking about things all the way up to Transformers Rise of the Beast and beyond. And like you guys, I can't wait to catch this movie. So thanks very much, guys. Thanks for joining me this evening on this Monday. Have a great week. And I will see you all very, very soon. Roll out.